Hello there YouTube, Kenny here, also known as SilentFan85. Welcome to another serious mode. I'm using new software to try to record this just to get a better picture, really. So hopefully it's a little better. I'm also doing some color adjustments, so here's hoping. But anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about this serious mode is something that has really it's really affected me the last few weeks. I've been going through a lot in my personal life. A lot of stress, a lot of work, a lot of personal demons, to be honest. And I wanted to give a little chit chat, maybe some tips on dealing with, well, like I said, depression, the dark places we go to in our own minds that seem inescapable, dark pits of tar that we can't escape from. It's scary. Um, and you start thinking things that to be blunt, they can effectively have a very negative outcome on your life. And sometimes even end it. It's not easy to escape those thoughts either, especially if you're in a depression like I was. It's not easy to carry on. It's not easy to want to keep fighting, to want to keep going the way that you want to go in life. But the key is to keep fighting. That's always been the key when it comes to life, is to keep going, to keep fighting. With that said, something I've had to do is to cut out, not entirely cut out, but definitely be aware of the things that are causing anxiety. Be aware of the things that kind of put you in that state of mind. Outside forces, outside influences, people, things, situations, so on and so forth. You got to be careful with them. If you're constantly putting yourself in situations where that happens a lot, and you're constantly being bombarded with all this stuff that affects your mind, take some time away from it. Don't keep putting yourself in that situation. If there are loved ones that affect you in that way, even though they obviously don't want to affect you that way, but sometimes people can be a source of such things. Take some time away from them. Let them know you're okay, but you need some time. If it's things, or if it's your job doing it, that's a bit tougher, because obviously you have to pay the bills, right? That's one of the things of life. The gamer's constantly focusing. If you can take time off, do it. If you have time saved up, do it. But I would say probably the best thing to do at that is maybe not go so full hardcore in your job. Maybe loosen up a bit on it. Relax a bit more. Take more breaks if you can. That's just been my experience, really, with that. But it's really important to remember that you're really special to somebody in your life. You're it's so hard to remember how special you are. It's so hard to remember where you want to go, who you want to be. It's hard to remember where you are, who you are, why you are. And when you're in that pit, everything is colorless. Everything is tasteless. Everything is meaningless. Especially your sense of self. everything is brought into question. Everything. You question everything. There's no limit. And again, it's like a tar pit. It's the more you struggle, the deeper you sink. But what really helped me was to know that all I had to do is just look at and go through the things in my life that's causing me this type of pain, because it really is a pain. It's an internal pain. It's an internal struggle. And you got to go through and nitpick and weed out the causes of this. You got to identify them. You got to act accordingly. Because you're important as a person. You have to remember that you are a person as well. And even if the choices you have to make to better yourself, if it's an unrealized truth that you don't want to face, you can't push it aside. That's how I got mine. That's how I got into my depression. Was that I didn't want to look at something. I didn't want to realize something that was a part of my everyday life. And numerous things in life can do that. It can be the most mundane thing. But somewhere along the way you decide it's like, no, I can handle it. It's not that. It's not that at all. You can only carry so much weight and so much burden. Unfortunately, it's not a video game. It's not like we have infinite stats or God mode or anything like that. We're human beings. And it's hard to remember that sometimes when you're constantly playing characters that save the world or tame dinosaurs, tame big-ass beasts, destroy aliens, fight demons, so on and so forth. But real life isn't a game. I mean, yeah, you obviously have fun with it, but at the same time, you got to remember that you're human. You got to remember that you can't carry the world. And that's hard to do, especially like with my kind of personality, because I'm so caring and so out there. Obviously dirty minded as well, for those that know me, but human beings as a collective, we can carry the planet. But as a single human being, as an individual, you can only carry so much weight. You can't carry everything. And you can try. But unfortunately, most of the time, it just drags you down even more than you realize. And at first, it's not really noticeable, but over time, it builds. And it builds. And it builds. And it builds. And it keeps building until you're down in that pit that you've made yourself. It's really easy to stay on guard, to keep an eye on other people that want to drag us down. But when it's your own self, it's a little bit harder to identify that. So be skeptical of your own self as well. Keep a guard up. Because sometimes you can be your own worst enemy. Anyway, I hope this helps. Remember, you're awesome. Never let the world tell you otherwise. And for now, I'll say salute. See ya.